Morning from the Lake District. So I've just come to do Blencathra today. Just parked up in Mungrisdale, which I'm always tempted to pronounce as Mungrisdale, but I'm assured that locally it's pronounced Mungrisdale, so I'll try my best to keep it that pronunciation. So we're just heading up Fell here, and then we'll go over to Blencathra, across to Mungrisdale Common, doing it already, Bannerdale Crags and Bowscale Fell, and then back down, and then have a pint in the mill inn, which is just by the car park over there. So you can see probably behind me, sun's just coming up there. It's pretty cloudy, bits of cloud inversion on the fells in the background there. Mountain weather says it is going to be cloudy once again, but it's not looking too bad so far. So this is Fell in front of us, pretty steep, straight from the off really. We've only just come off the road, so it's pretty much a straight up ascent. As you can hear, I'm out of breath, and there's Chris, so let's go and catch him up, and I'll speak again some more when we get to the top. The top of Fell, kind of crept up on us really. It's just, as you'll have seen on the initial footage I've probably shown before this clip, just a grassy path. Thought it was going to be a false top, as it so often is, but yeah, we just appeared on the top here, and yeah, it's pretty clagged in. So that's Blencathra over there. The walk's going to take us approximately over that way, and then sort of down there. So yeah, this fell itself is just pretty grassy, as you can see behind me, but there's a bit of a tail attached to it actually. In 1745, some of the locals reported being able to see soldiers, cavalry and horse-drawn carriages on top of the fell from the village down below. But it was, pretty impassable for vehicles like that to get up here. So it sounds a bit fantastical, but there were 26 witnesses to the event, and they all swore under oath that that's what they'd seen. So over time it became known as the Spectral Army of Fell. I'm not seeing anything today though, not so far anyway, but certainly atmospheric. So yeah, so one explanation that's been offered for the phenomenon was that it was actually some form of reflection of the army of Bonnie Prince Charlie on exercise on the Scottish coast, which to be honest seems less plausible than saying it was ghosts really. So I'll keep a lookout, and who knows what could emerge from the mist. So we've just continued on from Fell. Rain started to come in a little bit. I'm keeping the jacket off for the time being. Hopefully it'll go off. So just in front of us there, you can see Scales Fell, which will lead us across the top to Blencathra, which you may not be able to make out in the gloom there. Another couple of people ahead of us there. I can feel it starting to go off actually, so I think I've made the right call, as Chris has stopped to just put his on. But yeah, views non-existent really. Well, there are hints of blue sky there. I don't know what I've done to upset the Lakeland gods, but last 4 or 5 walks have just been totally clagged in. So not hopeful once again of seeing much, which just means, unfortunately, for anyone watching, more rambling and waffle from me. But up we go. Yeah, there's quite a few people on the path there now, so we're not taking that path. That's the way you'd go if you wanted to do sharp edge, but yeah, I wouldn't really advise that at this time of year, particularly with the rain starting, little patches of snow around. I think it can be particularly treacherous. That's my excuse anyway. So yeah, we're going to continue up Scales Fell and over the top. Wind's picked up, feels like temperature is about -5 I think, so I had to put the down jacket on. It's like a fine mist of rain, which is really making me feel the chill, so throwing the extra layer on. We're just nearing the summit of Blencathra now, or Saddleback as it's displayed on the OS map. Saddleback because it's got a distinctive shape that looks like a horse's saddle, and the name Blencathra has several reputed origins, my favourite of which being that its meaning is Arthur's seat in Brythonic, I think, which I think is an old Celtic language, but yeah, nobody knows which origin is the correct one, so yeah, just pick your favourite. So final push to the highest point of the day, catch my breath back, and then say a little bit more. So we're at the top of Blencathra. What do you make of the views, Chris?
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, can't see a thing. Quite a few people up here, but yeah, nowhere to stop. So just touch the trig point at the top, and then on to the next one, which is Mungrisdale Common, or Mungrisdale if you want to pronounce it how it looks. So yeah, highest point of the day. A lot of downhill from here, thankfully. So second fell of the day, 3 more to go. So there's actually a few tops to Blencathra. I think there's about 6 actually, but I think, and anyone correct me if I'm wrong here, I think Hall's Fell top is the official one. That's got the Ordnance Survey trig point set into the rock just back there where we were. So I think that's the official one if you're you know, if you're precious about reaching the actual summit. But the about 10 years ago, the mountain itself was actually put up for sale by the Earl of Lonsdale because he needed to pay his inheritance tax bill. So put it up for sale, and a group was formed called the Friends of Blencathra, who grouped together to try and raise the money to buy the fell. But unfortunately, despite the fundraising efforts, they fell short of the required sum to buy the land. So the Earl of Lonsdale kept it, found another way to pay his inheritance tax bill. Must have sold the cutlery or something. Just got a little frozen tarn here. Tempting to walk across it, but we'll resist that childlike urge. Just admire it from afar, because I would definitely fall through, especially after Christmas. So we've just dropped off the top of Blencathra now, coming down this path here, which is called Blue Screes. Pretty self-explanatory. You might just be able to see that man there in the yellow t-shirt running. Must be in his 70s, just jogging across the hills. Certainly fitter than me. Just had to ask him for a bit of advice, because it didn't look like there was a path coming down here because it was that foggy. But yeah, he says we're on the right way, unless he's having us on and we'll find ourselves in the wrong valley. But we're going down anyway, so we'll figure it out, I'm sure. So we're on Mungrisdale Common, and to say it's unremarkable would be an absolute understatement. And Wainwright himself wasn't too complimentary about this fell, if you can call it a fell. He said it was akin to a pudding that had been sat on. And there is a rumour that he only featured it in the book to fill some space, but I can't see that being true, to be honest, because there's you know, a multitude of other fells that aren't in his books that he could have put in, and you know, it's a mystery why he left some of them out, to be honest. Only he knows the answer to that though, and he's no longer with us, so we can't ask him. So yeah, it's you know, unless you're doing the 214 Wainwrights, I just wouldn't see any reason to come here whatsoever. Might as well go to your local park. So yeah, we'll do this one. I don't even know where the cairn is, to be honest, or even if there is one. And then after we've done this, we'll head back the way we've came, do Bannerdale Crags, and then on to the final Wainwright of the day, Bowscale Fell. We're still walking towards Bannerdale Crags. We had some navigational issues. Not sure which one of us was to blame, but we won't talk about that. So not too much of an ascent to go. And then I think the difference between Bannerdale Crags and Bowscale Fell, which is the final Wainwright of the day, is only about 50 metres. And then a gradual initial descent down the tongue. And then I think it gets a little bit steeper towards the end. And then we're pretty much back at the pub for a well-deserved pint. Just at the top of Bannerdale Crags, this is the cairn, but it's not actually the highest point, but we'll tap it anyway. And now Bowscale fell. Which way do you reckon?
That way.
That way. Follow your nose. Yeah, I'll check the map, but it's got to be one of these. I think it's that one, but we'll double check now. So, needless to say, that was not Bowscale fell. It's in completely the other direction. So it's just quite a wide track now over to it. Not much to really say about the area because I can't bloody see anything as per usual. We're getting a bit fed up now. It gets a bit boring when you can't see much and you're constantly checking the map because it's hard to discern where you're going without looking at the GPS. So we'll plod on and we'll soon be at the top of Bowscale Fell and yeah, on our way back. First semi view of the day, just on the edge of the fell here, and it's almost certain death if you fall down there, so I'll have to watch my step. But I've just banged some ibuprofen down me with some Lucozade because in my vain push to get fit in the new year, started running and yeah, about 4 runs in, injured my knee, so it's been holding up quite well today. Got it strapped up and just taking it easy really in terms of pace on this walk. Not that we have any other pace, to be honest. So yeah, got it all supported. I think the real test will be when we come down towards the end, as that tends to be a bit more jarring on the knees and the shins. So we'll see how I get on. Might have to get Chris to give me a piggyback. Bowscale Fell over my shoulder there, which is the 5th and final Wainwright of the day, and marks our 50th Wainwright since we've started trying to bag them all. But as you can see, you can still see nothing. We met a local Cumbrian fella who was out running with his dog just as we were coming off Mungrisdale Common. Just told him we were doing the Wainwrights and we'd just been to Mungrisdale Common as well. And he said he's starting to realise that a lot of Wainwrights fells are pretty awful, and certainly getting that feeling on this walk. But I don't know if I'm unfairly judging this one because of the clag, meaning we just can't see anything. There could be glorious views all around for all I know. I have a feeling there's not. So we're just on the path on the way down now, back the way we came, which is always a bit soul destroying, but at least we know the way we're going. I'll turn the camera off because my nose is dripping. I'm going to start looking like a Yeti's backside. Sod's law, as we're heading down, the clouds are starting to clear. So it's a pretty gradual path down here. You can see quite a few people on it. And we just head round the side of this fell here, which is called the Tongue. And then in front of us there is Souther Fell, which was the first one we summited at the beginning of the walk. So it seems pretty gradual down here, quite an open valley. You can sort of see glimpses of the edge of Blencathra there, but still, although it has cleared up, views aren't stunning by any stretch of the imagination. Need to watch my step here with the geriatric knee, make sure I don't go over. So I reckon about half an hour, 40 minutes left. We should have finished the walk. We're just nearing the bottom of the path now. Pretty good going, this path, to be honest. Quite gradual, been kind to the old knees. So just to the left, this is the end of Bowscale Fell. And I think there is a wood somewhere on Bowscale Fell called Young Wood. Not that I saw it as we were coming down, but it's the highest wood in England. And just in front there, I don't know if you can see it, is the river Blencathra, which flows past that glorious white building, which I think is the mill. So this will be one of the nicest pints I've ever had, because I've been doing dry January. 28 days later, it's going to taste like nectar. So we'll see what they've got on offer. I think it's a Robinson's pub, so probably Unicorn, Dizzy Blondes, Trooper, Cumbria Way. But yeah, whatever they've got, it'll be sublime. Here we are, we've reached Valhalla, the mill inn. Hopefully it's open. So it's called the mill inn because I think there used to be a mill just opposite. And in fact, I think set into the bar is an old millstone from that mill. So you might see it when we walk in here, but there's a light on. So it's looking promising. Let's have a gander.